So here's what's happening.
Okay.
A good buddy of mine, who's actually also one of the brosteners, he's listened to every podcast, watched every daily video. He was down in Costa Rica, doing a little trip in the jungle, seeing some nature.
Love it.
He sent me a picture of what he's doing.
Sounds great.
Which Will's going to pull up here, and he doesn't look great. He's laying in a hospital, and as you can see there,
bite.
One of his legs is about 7 times the size of the other leg.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's bad.
He got
What happened?
bitten by a snake called a fer-de-lance, which I had never heard of until this. Just on a casual trek through the jungle, all of a sudden a fucking snake bites him, dude.
Yep.
So what is a fer-de-lance? What is a fer-de-lance?
Fer-de-lance is a super venomous pit viper that occurs in Central and South America, and in Central America in particular, they are incredibly common. In fact, they account for something like 70. It's like up to 70% of all snake bites in Central America are from the fer-de-lance, and 10% or so of those die. So people die, and it's just terribly, terribly potent hemotoxic venom. Super aggressive snake, and I think the worst part about them, they're super cool. I've caught dozens and dozens of them. I think they're beautiful. In fact, I have a friend who was bitten as well, but what I think is so interesting about them, and also what makes them so problematic, is a lot of places in the world, like Africa where I live, right? We had a snake called a brown house snake, and as you can imagine, it used to like hang out around houses and in villages and stuff. Now, the problem with the fer-de-lance, they eat rodents, and they are heavily attracted to human inhabited areas because of that purpose. So you're like hanging out in the village, your village is right up against the jungle. You decide to walk to the bathroom one night in your village, and there's fer-de-lance just littering the way. And I've had nights in Costa Rica where I found 6 or 7 in like 3 or 4 hours. Oh yeah, Will's got a video of me catching one here.
Oh, so we can see what the actual snake looks like once he plays it.
I think, Will, you might need to like fast forward a little bit in the video till I actually start messing with it. But I think this is me and my buddy down there. I don't remember, a few years ago, and here was one we found one night.
That bit you on your leg.
So, that's right. I made this video for my friend Steve who got bitten. You can mute it, Will. It's not that interesting. But you see, look, so it's really interesting. See how the snake is right there? You can't even see it, right?
You can't
it's just
see it at all.
Pile of leaves. So they're incredibly cryptic. Their camouflage is perfect. Literally, you can barely even see it, right? And I'm shining a light right at it. See that? Wow. And see how he's sitting? Yeah. This is how we found him. See how he's sitting coiled up in that strike position? That's exactly what they do. And the problem is that they're an ambush hunter, meaning they sit coiled up in that strike position, and as soon as you won't see it because they blend in perfectly, and as soon as you step in front of one, it just strikes out of defense, and it just, bam, taps you and pulls back, injects tons of venom. I can't remember how many milliliters, but like way too much venom. And then you're in trouble. You're basically dying straight away, and then just recoils and goes back to sitting in its crouched position.
Forrest, so you get bit by one of these. It seems to be very common in South America or Central America. Like, I mean, how fucked are you? You're obviously fucked if you don't get treated. How long do you have until you are going to die, basically?
Well, it depends where you're bitten, right? And the problem is, so the fer-de-lance has a hemotoxic venom. And what hemotoxin does is it aids in digestion. Meaning, this, like looking at Patrick's buddy's leg, that leg is being digested currently, right? I'm guessing he got bitten on the calf or maybe around the ankle area, and those lines you're seeing are lines monitoring the venom creeping out, and that's as it's swelling up further and further. But what's happening is the hemotoxic venom is being injected at the site of the bite, and from the site out, as it grows, like those lines, the tissue is beginning to break down. The proteins are beginning to dissolve, because what hemotoxin is designed to do is aid in digestion. It's literally like it's the snake's stomach acid, in a sense, going into your body. And if you can pull up a picture of what would happen if it's left untreated, it will literally, there you go.
Okay.
It will completely digest your
Let's
tissue.
get that off pretty quick so we don't get taken down by YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, we are.
I was just going to say,
but
one of our videos already got taken down.
That leg's gone, right? There's no saving that leg. That's an amputee.
That's done.
And that is literally what would happen to Patrick's buddy / our brostener if they weren't sitting in that hospital in San Jose right now, which is where I assume he's being treated.
Yeah.
And it will continue to digest, break down proteins. burst the cells and literally digest like it would in your like meat in your stomach until the leg just shrivels and withers away. And it's supposed to be extremely painful. Sorry.
Yeah. He texted
Looks
me that
fucking
his,
like it.
his penis and testicles are the color jet black.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I have to assume that means the Venom got out there and is doing some dirty work on his nether regions.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's... So the testicles in general, and this is not my field, I'm not a human anatomy guy, but they pool blood, like, a lot. In fact, I've got a pretty funny story about my buddy getting hit in the fishing in the nads with the back of a fishing rod once, and I've never seen anything quite like it. But we can circle back to that. We can circle back to that if you like. But yeah, your testicles happen to like catch a lot of blood that's going down and up, and the venom has crept all the way up there, and if not treated, they'd probably start rotting away too. So I'm glad he's seeking attention. How's he feeling? Is he pretty miserable?
He's miserable. Look, he's a Kiwi. Really tough guy. I mean, he was out with the Sea Shepherds, got his boat smashed by a harpoon ship. He's a pretty badass dude. So in general, he tends to just address things with humor.
Sure.
But I think
who would you know like that at all, Patrick? You wouldn't know anyone like that. Yeah.
Pretty much all of us, yeah. I think he's mostly worried, obviously, about losing the leg or losing his cack and balls. So we'll see. But here's something I was thinking about. Right? So, Retep, I've been out with Forrest in very snaky terrain, a lot of times. And one thing, I think it was on one of our first shoots where there were venomous snakes, our assistant camera guy, Johnny, stepped over a log. Mm-hmm. Seemed pretty normal. And Forrest was like, hey, stop. He's like, everyone, just look at what Johnny just did. That's the exact right way to get bitten by a venomous snake.
Yeah, that's right.
I have been out and filmed wildlife for a long time, and I actually didn't know. Like, there's some simple things you can do when you're in a snaky region, like Vietnam, where we were, where there's tons of king cobra bites.
Yeah.
Not king cobra bites, but cobra bites.
Mm-hmm.
So, Forrest, what are a few things you can do to not get bitten by a snake?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, if you see a snake, leave it alone. Don't do what I do. Don't fiddle with it, right? Because that's the best way to get bitten by a snake. But if you're out walking in the jungle, and what Johnny did and what, Patrick, you've done and I've done myself is, if you see a log that's down like this and you decide to step over it, typically the snake's going to be coiled up right under the log. So as you step over, it's going to strike and grab you. So when you see a log that's down in the jungle, and I have to remind myself of this constantly, and my family and everything else. What you do is you step up onto it and step out and away from it. And if you always do that, as opposed to, here's something that's 2 feet tall, I'm going to step over it, my foot's going to land where I can't see on the other side of it, you decrease your likelihood of a snake bite, exponentially. Because they will, like that fer-de-lance video that you saw, the back of his coils was pretty much against a wall of leaves, of vegetation, right? And they will typically do that. When they coil up in a strike position, they don't want to be vulnerable to predation, so they don't want to just be coiled up out in the open, in the middle of a field. They're going to be coiled up against something. And if they're coiled up in strike position against the log and you come and step over it, that's your ankle. And I would bet, I don't know your buddy's story, Patrick, or I don't know if you know the detail, I bet you that's exactly what happened to him. I bet you he stepped over something, went, ow, looked down and was like, uh-oh, that's not good.
Oof. Yuck. Anything else? I remember when we were in Zanzibar, one of our camera guys put on these snake boots, and you kind of laughed and were like, those are fucking useless.
They are.
What's the deal with those? Because I've seen them marketed as like, if you're going to snake, if you're like hiking around snakes.
Yeah. Look, I mean, every level of deterrence helps, right? But for the most part, snake chaps and all that, like a leather chap or whatever that you wear around your shins, is not going to do anything, especially with, when you're talking about vipers and certain vipers can have 2-inch long fangs or longer, with a very good bite force. We're always talking about bite force. That little piece of flimsy leather that's soft and comfortable so that your leg doesn't, sweat and feel terrible is going to do absolutely nothing. What it might deter is the 14-inch snake that has tiny little fangs that maybe is venomous, but the thing that's really going to get you anyway, the chaps do nothing. And that's why I remember laughing at him, because it was just like, I think he had like, it was like designer fabric ones. Like they look super cool. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get rid of those. Meanwhile, Neil, our other camera guy, Retep, who I love, was wearing thigh-high moon boots that were designed for the Arctic winter for some god-awful reason. And I was like, now that guy's not going to get bitten by anything because there's 12 inches of fur between his leg and the exterior of the boot. So
legit. He showed up to go film in the jungle with, like, no exaggeration, Gucci moon boots.
Yeah, they were insane.
I saw him. I remember you guys. There's a picture, or you sent me a picture of him. So very, very small statured guy, just wearing giant furry moon boots in the jungle.
Board shorts from like 1994 with like the big Hawaiian floral print and a T-shirt that said "Snuggle Slut." And I was like. And this is the first time I met him. Like, we just lost some crew members, and Patrick's like, we got to work with this guy, Neil. And I love him, by the way. I think he's one of the greatest guys. He's such a fun dude. And he showed up, and I was like, haha, that's a funny joke. Like, good outfit. And then he showed up to work at it. And I was like, wait, this isn't a joke.
Dude, the Africans loved him, too.
First time meeting him.
He's a Filipino dude, right? And it was so funny. They started doing it, and I was like, is this a thing? All over Africa, everyone goes, konnichiwa.
That's right. Yeah, konnichiwa. He's like, motherfucker, I don't speak that. Yeah.
He's starting to get pissed. I was like, dude, they love you. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Forrest, so let me ask you one more quick thing. If a guy like Neil, who doesn't know what he's doing in the jungle, gets bit by one of these snakes, what's the first thing you to correct me, Zebra? Fuck. God damn it. All right. Is to get bitten by one of these snakes in the jungle, what should he do? What are the first 3 things he should do other than trying to get to a hospital immediately?
So there's a lot of false information out there. And actually, I'm super glad you brought that up. Like, suck the venom out of the bite. You used to be able to buy these little, like, sucker kits that would suck the venom out and all that. Don't do any of that. Don't fucking do any of that because it's really stupid. One, it's proven not to work. And 2, most importantly, is all it does is you start panicking, right? You're like, oh shit, I gotta get my little snake sucker and, and blah, 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 and like fucking do this thing and I've just been bitten, and you go into this like nervous state, which of course is going to increase your heart rate. And when that increases your heart rate, blood is going to travel through your body quicker, and that's going to spread the venom further more quickly. So what you want to do is be like, that's bad. I've been bitten by a snake. First thing you want to do, take a picture of the snake, because you want to, if you don't know what it is, you want to be able to identify it at the doctor's office, at the hospital, right? That's the number one thing. Like, because you go in and go, I got bitten by a snake. Is it hemotoxic? Is it cytotoxic? Is it neurotoxic? What kind of snake is it? Well, I don't know. I'm not a snake expert. Cool. Can you describe it? It's brown. Great. That narrows it down to 15,000 different species of deadly snake, right? So first thing, you get bitten, take a picture of the animal if you don't know what it is, right? Second thing, obviously, if you have service, if you're in cell phone range, etc., make a phone call. Call 911, call for help, call someone, tell them where you are, tell them you're coming, tell them what's happened. Most importantly, throughout, even before step 1 and step 2, really, stay calm, because like I just said, the more you panic, the worse it's going to be. Okay? Then just walk away. Just leave the snake where it is. You've got your photo. You've informed someone what's happening. Maybe they're bringing a car or an ambulance or whatever. Don't run, don't sprint, don't panic, don't start sweating, don't start thinking about it. Just pack up your stuff, calmly walk out of for wherever you are and get to medical attention as quickly and as calmly as possible. And that's it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Don't do any of the bullshit tourniquets or suck the venom out. Don't panic, don't sprint out of there to get to a hospital. Just stay calm, seek medical attention, call for help, and get out of there.
Hey, I think this might save someone's life.
There you have it.
Right here.
It might.
Hey,
absolutely.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. All you watchers, too. Love you. Like, subscribe. Fuck off, Pat and Forrest.